What's up, everybody? This is the PlayStation Lifestyle Underground Podcast. We are an unofficial podcast. My name is Hugo Stiglitz. You can find me on PSN as Hugo Stiglitz _ 420. And today I am with two other guests. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, I'm Wanibara, and on PSN, I'm Jackman1987, and we also have here.
I'm Brian Mashala. On PSN, I'm Cloudstripe768. Should be that on the forums as well.
Excellent. And we're going to try something new this week. We're actually going to start off by talking about what games we've been playing lately. Personally, I've been playing a lot of Project Cars. It pretty much hasn't left my PlayStation since I got it on Tuesday. Before that, I was, trying to grind away at Bloodborne, hitting a little bit of road bumps with that game. It is pretty difficult, but I'm going to keep plugging it away at it. And other than that, I think they just restarted up the Rocket League beta, and I'm definitely going to have to get in on some of that because that is an amazing game already, even at the beta stage. So what have you been playing lately, Juan?
Hold on, no way. They did the beta again? It's back up?
I think so. I mean, I saw an update for it the other day, so I gotta assume that was why, because they did say that they were gonna take a break from the beta and then come back. So hopefully, we can get back in on that, because I don't think we've played together, but I mean, you know how awesome it is. It's a cool game.
I love that game so much. I don't know the last time I've had so much fun with a game. It's amazing.
Same here.
I love it.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. Like, I've never been like that, had that much fun with a sports game. Like, it's already my favorite sports game ever, other than, racing simulators. And that says a lot since it's only in beta and it's the, first time I've ever played anything like it.
Yeah. I mean, well, is it really a sports game? It's like RC cars and a soccer ball.
I consider it a sports game. I really do, just because, I mean, it's really competitive like a sports game. Like, it's kind of based around soccer, so I definitely consider it a sports game personally. I mean, it kind of combines, well, it doesn't really combine racing, but I don't know, driving is kind of a sport if it's racing, and soccer definitely, I don't know.
Alright, well, yeah, that's cool.
We don't want to go too long on whether or not it's a sport.
Yeah.
Brian, what have you been playing lately?
My gaming lately has been quite the hodgepodge. A little bit of Guacamelee ever since it came free to PlayStation Plus. Playing some Destiny again in anticipation for House of Wolves coming out next week, and likewise with Final Fantasy XIV, the new expansion comes out next month. So been dipping my toes back in and trying to remember how to play those games.
Awesome. Yeah, typically I'm a lot like that. Like, I'm usually hopping from game to game on an hourly basis almost usually, but it's just sometimes I get a game where it's hard not to play, like Project Cars and Rocket League. Lately, it's just like I can play those for hours, which is a rare thing with me personally, because usually I play a million different things. But now we're getting into the topics we had for this week.
Wait, you skipped me.
The first one was pretty interesting. It's a weird scenario, but let's just go with it. It's if we could only play 2 games for the rest of our lives, what would they be and why? And a kind of related topic to that is games that we've replayed multiple times, and what we liked about them, why we replayed them, and I guess I'll just start with mine. The 2 games I would pick would be Gran Turismo 6 and Crisis 1. And the reason for Gran Turismo 6 is, I mean, it's just, there's so much content, there's 1,200 cars, and for Gran Turismo, for me, I've always had the habit of, just picking a random car and just test driving it. I mean, and especially when you have that many, you just never run out of cars to test drive. And I mean, the other part of it is the tracks. I mean, there's so many tracks in that game. I think there's over 100 layouts of tracks, and I mean, just my favorite track alone, it takes anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes just to do a lap. And so it's like I can keep myself busy just driving around that one track forever. And, not to mention just doing the racing careers, which can be really fun. The online is not my favorite thing because of some issues, but sometimes it can be great. And then, I'll get into Crisis now. I don't want to take forever on Gran Turismo because I really could go forever on that one. Crisis 1 is just, I love it. I've played it 7 times. Part of it is that it has really great graphics, a really cool environment to play in. It's a first-person shooter, which is also one of the things I love playing the most is single-player first-person shooters. But more than that is its open-ended nature. Like you're basically plotted into these huge maps, and there's a bunch of different. There's a lot of water. There's hills, mountains, and there's just a million different ways you can go about doing each objective. And each time I've played it, I don't think I've done anything the same way twice. Like, there's just like so many different paths you can take, and I mean, even like on my 6th playthrough, I'll still find like new hidden little paths that I never saw before. Just because that's how large it is in some of the areas, and also I really really enjoyed the story, and it just never gets boring to me somehow. I don't know why, but it's like I could pick that game up anytime, play it for like a couple hours, and it's kind of strange because I'm not usually like that with a whole lot of games, but that is one of my 2. So one of you guys want to go next?
Go, Brian. It's all you.
Oh man, putting me on the spot. I was still trying to think about it. It's a hard question for sure. Right now, if I had to pick 2 off the top of my head, the first one would be Minecraft.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely even sure for what platform. Just because I'm just gonna say Minecraft in general because it has almost infinite replayability. A lot of people hate it, a lot of people love it. There's a reason it's one of the best-selling games ever now. There's just this weird draw about it, and ever since I was little, I loved playing with Legos, and now that I'm an adult and it's kind of weird for me to spend money on Legos and build things, I could just play Minecraft, and it's pretty much the equivalent of that. So, especially the social aspects of it on PC at least. I have a couple friends that I would play with, so it's always. I know those options exist on consoles as well, but I've done almost all my multiplayer Minecrafting on PC, and playing with 7, 8.
Yeah, there's a lot more features on PC.
Yeah, playing with
PC has tons of things.
Unfortunately,
just playing with like 7 people at the same time in your own little world and connecting your areas and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. So hopefully I'm connected to other people on this desert island that we're on where we can only play 2 games. Other than that,
yeah, Minecraft is it's one of those games that you can just you can play for hours and hours on end just doing whatever. Like, I actually kind of stopped playing it because I would say, all right, I'll play this for an hour or something, and then I end up playing for 3 or 4. And it's so easy to lose time in that game. That's what,
right, definitely.
And that's kind of why I stopped playing it for a little while at least. I only have the PS4 and Vita version, so it was definitely limited as far as the multiplayer. That's the only thing that disappoints me about it. But yeah. Sorry, you want to keep going?
I guess the next game that I would pick, if I had to pick a game, would be Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Ooh.
And I don't know why. I guess I'm still on a little bit of a high because it just came out again for 3DS recently. But it's always been one of those games that I, over the years, have, I've gone back, and I guess it's dipping into the next topic a little bit, but coming back, and it's one of those games that I always played every couple years, and just playing it again in a different medium, make it, having it look a lot nicer than it used to, has just like rekindled my absolute love of that game. So
yeah,
if I had to pick two games, that would be those two games.
Awesome. Pretty good choices, if you ask me. Yeah. No, it's funny too. I'd say pretty much. Well, not for the same. Yeah, I'd say it. You and your choice of Minecraft and choice of Crisis, they seem very similar because it's freedom pretty much. The feeling of freedom, of choice. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I see that sticks with people. The freedom to choose how you want to do it.
Also, like he mentioned with Majora's Mask, it's like one of those games that he'll just play, once a year or every few years. That's how Crisis is with me. And actually, Last of Us is kind of like that with me too, because it's only been 2 years, but I usually do play it at least once a year, so far at least.
2 years already?
Yeah, 2013. It'll be the 2-year anniversary in maybe about a month. I think.
Yeah,
I think
June.
It
was the 14th, I think, something like that.
11th or something like
somewhere
that.
Around there. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I know it was the Friday after E3.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I played it.
That's crazy.
Twice in the first year, once on PS4 last year, and I started playing it again on grounded difficulty this year. So
that's cool.
That's another one that's pretty high up there.
That I feel like The Last of Us is a game that I should have played more than once already, but I played it once. That's it, never again.
That's okay.
It's a great game.
You should,
Loved it. Yeah.
I strongly recommend you try playing it on Survivor or grounded difficulty because it's like a completely different game on that.
On a PS4,
is it forces you to use stealth?
Is it unlocked already? The grounded difficulty?
I think so.
Yes.
Alright, cool. Because I just have it on PS3. I'll just buy it on PS4 at some point and play through the grounded one.
They're so
right from the get go.
Yeah, it's worth it because the graphics and frame rate are absolutely amazing on PS4. It is pretty awesome what they did as far as remastering, which is why I'm like completely hoping that they're going to do an Uncharted trilogy in the same vein.
They will.
I mean, all three of those games at 60 FPS, 1080p with the 4 times resolution textures would just be awesome. I mean, that's the only thing that stops me from replaying Uncharted. It's just like I'm hoping that they're going to do that. So it's like I've been holding off on replaying Uncharted 2. Well, except for a little bit of PlayStation Now on my Vita, but
yeah,
that's a little bit.
Yeah.
Holiday this year, the trilogy, and we'll come to PS4. Brian,
I hope
yeah,
it's
we'll
a May prediction for Brian.
Either way, I'm sure. Yeah, it is a good. It makes a lot of sense, especially since Uncharted 4 got delayed.
Yeah, it's true. At some point, we should do an episode, a prediction episode.
Yeah, we could do that like next week or something. Were you able to narrow down 2 games? One?
Yeah. One of them, I have to say, is Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 is what I believe the pinnacle of that series. It is the highest point that series has gone. It's also the highest point in story. I mean, in that kind of story, just like a fun romp through adventure. You know what I mean? It's just a game like has fantastic pacing. It's fantastic just to play it. I can't stop once I start. There's no. Sure, it has slow parts, but it still has enough energy to it where you're like, oh, I want to keep going with this. That game, I think I played through it maybe 8 times, and that was within the first 2 years I had it. I played through it a lot of times, and I love that game so much. It's a phenomenal game. No, yeah. And like Uncharted 3, Uncharted 1, they're good too. Uncharted 2 is just, for me, that's the highest point there is in storytelling in a action genre, or adventure action drama, or genre.
Absolutely. I mean, actually, my two favorite games of all time is probably Uncharted 2 and Last of Us.
Yeah, that's the highest. That's the highest that that developer's gone.
Yeah.
No offense
Yeah,
to
no,
Uncharted
Naughty
3.
Dog's no joke.
But yeah, that's
Yeah, I liked Uncharted 3, but I know what you mean. Like, it didn't quite live up to Uncharted 2's standards.
yeah. And I mean, I've talked to too much people that say that Uncharted 3 is much better to them, and that's cool. I understand where they're coming from, but Uncharted 2 takes the cake for me.
The only person I've heard say that is Greg Miller from IGN.
Oh yeah, he's a pretty prominent advocate for that game, and I mean,
Yeah.
I understand that's it's cool that it went it went a different route, and I think that it went down a route that I didn't expect and that I didn't like because I didn't expect it.
See, for me, I thought it was going fantastically, just right up until the climax. I thought the climax failed, and
Yeah.
I thought it didn't really click with me. Like the whole thing about Sully died. Oh no.
Well,
Spoilers.
His voice is in a trailer for a trailer.
I always
4.
do that.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, spoilers. We'll only talk about it for about 30 seconds.
It's like what,
if you want to skip ahead.
Like a 3-year-old game? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I still really hate spoilers, but
Yeah.
I will be quick with it. Sully dies. Then oh wait, no, he didn't die. You were just hallucinating a bit. And then after that, Marlo, the whole thing she was after is some chemical in the water that would make people go crazy and be, afraid, and so she can control the world with it somehow.
Yeah.
It just made no sense to me.
Really
like I don't like that's what she was after. Like come on. And it's like I love the game. I thought the game was better as far as gameplay and even pacing.
Yeah.
But I just thought the story of Uncharted 2 was so much better. I mean, and also the final boss fight, obviously. I mean, the final boss fight on Uncharted 2 is fantastic. And, I mean, that's another reason Uncharted 2 I feel is a much better game just because, I mean, it just leaves a better taste in your mouth like when you're done with it. It's just like between the boss fight and the story itself, it's just a fantastic game. And I absolutely love it, and I really hope they do a trilogy because I really want to replay it on PS4 for sure.
Yeah. Do you guys think that if there was a trilogy, I find it hard to believe that they would give all 3 games the same treatment as Last of Us. I mean, have you seen Uncharted 1 recently? It's kind of.
I think so.
I don't know.
I think it would actually be a little easier for them to do that with Uncharted, especially 1, just because it's the graphics really weren't pushing anything too hard. I mean, it was definitely really good graphics for that for 2007.
Definitely, yeah.
But I think they might actually have an easier time getting Uncharted 1 to 60 FPS and 1080p than the other 2. But I think they can get all 3 because all 3 did run much better on PS3 than Last of Us did. And I think 2 and 3 look better as well. A lot of that could be art direction, but
yeah.
I mean, other than cutscenes, obviously, I don't mean the cutscenes, but yeah. I thought they looked better and they ran better too. So I mean, and plus they said they got like a lot of the hard work done when they did The Last of Us, because I mean, the hard work was just getting an engine to run on PS4 at all because of how different PS3 is architecturally, and so I feel pretty confident they can do all 3. To the same quality. The thing I'm really worried about is I seriously hope they don't try to do some half-assed, only 2 and 3, or only 2 or only 3. Like if they're gonna do any remasters for Uncharted, they have to do all 3, and they should do all 3 for $60. No, doing one at a time.
Yeah.
For $40 each, or like kind of like God of War. I mean, God of War is a little different because not all three, like two of them were on PS2 and they've
Yeah.
already been remastered. But I really feel pretty strongly that if they are going to do an Uncharted remaster for PS4, they have to do all three, especially because the big reason that they would do that is just so all the non PS3 owners that have PS4s now will be able to experience it before they play Uncharted 4. Because if they do an Uncharted trilogy, they'll probably sell a ton of copies to those people because I'm sure they've been hearing about Uncharted for years and rightfully so. So
Yeah.
I just seriously hope that if they do it, they do it right.
Yeah.
In other words, they do seem like the type that would do it correctly, like I'm saying. But I just still get a little worried from time to time because that's how the industry can go some of the time. But
fair enough.
But sorry, yeah. What was your second game?
Second game. This is a tough one.
Rocket League.
What was that?
No, I was joking. Rocket League, is that your second one?
Oh, no. Let's see. I guess I can't think of anyone other than this one that stands most prominent, but also Infamous 2. I don't know why that one. I feel like there's so many other games I played that I would prefer over that, but I love Infamous 2. So I guess I'll choose that one. I lied. Never mind. Batman Arkham City. That's the one. Batman Arkham City.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, there we go. That game, I love that game so much. I've been playing that game again just in anticipation for Arkham Knight, and it's phenomenal. Like I remember I got everything in that game 100%, except no platinum, not yet. Eventually I will. But that series is great. Plus I'm a huge fan of Batman comics in general and all that stuff. I read tons of those things. So yeah, I guess just my love for the character has just transferred into the game, and I love the game. I love the story, and I love just seeing it in action, playing as Batman. Plus, I love seeing pretty much this rogues gallery of villains that he goes against, and I don't know. It's just cool. It's just cool to see it all working together in this one, this one giant game, which I'm hoping Arkham Knight tops it, but we'll see.
That reminds me, is that I have to play that game before Arkham Knight comes out.
Did you ever play it?
Still haven't played it.
Oh my!
Nope.
You were missing.
I have it on PS3, and I played the first hour, but some other games came out, and I had to put it on hold. And I'm probably just gonna restart it when I do finally play it before Arkham Knight comes out.
Wait for the PS4 remaster.
But yeah, no, I thought the first one was awesome.
Wait, what, Brian? What'd you say?
Wait for the PS4 remaster.
Well, I did hear news of that, or I did just hear rumors about it. I mean,
is there? I was actually also thinking about getting it on PC, and playing it on there.
Yeah,
which would be a good idea.
It'd be cheaper there.
I mean,
we already have it though.
Steam sale. Yeah, well, it's just that if I get it on PC, I can play it in 1080p.
That's true.
Most likely, I can use my DualShock 4, every other console game I have on PC.
Yeah. I have to say that my one negative on that game is that it's on PS3. Like I've been playing it and I feel like I don't like this controller anymore. I want the PS4 controller, and I mean I could just connect. Yeah, I know. I can connect it. The thing is, it doesn't vibrate, and I get bothered by that. So. Yeah.
Yeah. You can also do it wirelessly too.
Yeah, I've been doing it wirelessly. I've done it wirelessly before in the past. PC. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you? So you're a big Batman fan. What did you think about the Dark Knight trilogy?
Fantastic first movie. Honestly, a very underrated first movie. Everyone just overlooks it because Dark Knight's so good. But the first movie is
I totally agree.
Amazing. Like it's a fantastic like no one really understands this. This movie brought back Batman from George Clooney's portrayal of him in
Fat nipples.
previous one. What was it? Yeah. And then Jack Nicholson as Joker, he was good. But then Heath Ledger came in and just shut him up. I would say, in a totally different portrayal in Dark Knight. Yeah, the Dark Knight was pretty good. It was amazing actually. The Dark Knight was better than Batman Begins. Then we have Dark Knight Rises, which is full of a bunch of plot holes, and it's just weak. It's the weakest movie out of all of them. It's not bad. It's just the weakest one out of the three.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that. I thought it was the perfect conclusion to the trilogy, but I mean that whole trilogy is like one of my favorite movies, other than probably my favorite movies other than The Usual Suspects. But
Yeah.
yeah, we don't want to go too much into movie talk, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're only at 25 minutes now, so thinking maybe we could go into that other surprise topic we had.
Surprise topic.
And yeah, you remember. And that topic is our stance on letting kids play mature rated games like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, and stuff like that. And I think it depends completely on the situation and the kid itself, and also the parents. Like personally, it was fine for me. Like I played mature rated games like when I was 8 years old. Like I mean, I played GoldenEye, you know, shooter Turok, like shooters like that. They were actually pretty gory compared to even like Call of Duty. Call of Duty has almost no blood or
Call of Duty,
anything like that at all. Well,
I feel like it's rated T. I mean, it's only language really, and I mean themes, but other than that,
there is a lot of language in Call of Duty. But as far as like the actual gameplay, there's no gore anymore. Like they used to be in like World of War and stuff, but
yeah, I mean now it's just like
not even.
All it is like a very big arcade game.
Yeah, I mean, and they keep the like the dialogue mature, which is realistic, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's really not as mature as people as you would think. But I mean, also it is kind of one of those rage-inducing games, which can be that might be one of the bigger problems for kids because I say that I was fine playing mature games when I was a kid. Like I played a ton of Grand Theft Auto as well, but the thing is that was long before multiplayer was a big thing, and I just think that single player games are usually way less frustrating than multiplayer games. Like, I mean, sure, we all will get frustrated at single player games at sometimes, but not in the way that multiplayer games can be because it's competitive. You're with your friends, you're going against other people, and it's like especially when you're for a lot of little kids, words like slurs and all kinds of bad words will just fly right off their tongues if they're getting mad and not doing well in a multiplayer game, and that could be one of the more unhealthy things about letting kids play mature games. But I think like for the most part, like I think if the parents just pay attention to their kids and make sure they realize that it's just a game, and to not get all upset if they don't do well, because after all, you're playing to have fun, not so why get all all angry just because things don't go your way. And I think so. In other words, I think the most important thing is for parents to be parents to their kids, but the problem is there's a lot of parents that work so much that they can't really do that, and a lot of parents use games as like a babysitter kind of. So that's where some of the problems can start happening. But what do you guys think about it?
Brian, all you.
It's actually funny that this is a topic. It's something that I've been considering and thinking about myself. I'm actually going to be a dad very shortly, and as and it's just one of those things where I've kind of been thinking about it as a result of that. I was a kid, but I don't know. There's a lot of issues with this question. Me personally, as a soon-to-be parent, don't really mind as much if my kid is playing something like Call of Duty. I mean, if they're 7 years old, probably not. If they're 13, probably not a big deal.
Yeah.
At the same time, games, I mean, it's a hard question, because even when we were kids, we had Mario, and that was still complemented with something like Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat wasn't anywhere near as violent as it is today, but it was still, like, pretty violent, you know, to the extent that 16-bit could be violent with the gore and the blood. And then, I guess violence in video games didn't really become a huge thing, I feel like, until Grand Theft Auto 3 came out and you could beat up a hooker and run over civilians and shoot up a police force coming after you.
Family friendly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a different world than it was 20 years ago when it comes to that sort of thing.
For sure.
I personally think that parents these days may have been gamers at one point, whereas, you know, even 10 years ago it was kind of like that weird in-between generation where some parents didn't really understand it, and then you just had the people in Congress who are old and disconnected who have a problem and blame violence on video games and everything. So, you know, it's just this weird time right now where games are getting considerably more graphic, gory, and violent, but parents are, I feel like they're at least getting to be a little more involved and understanding of what their kids are playing exactly. I mean, like you said, video games can be used as a babysitting tool, and if that babysitting tool is Grand Theft Auto 5 without any context, and you beat up hookers and steal their money and have a great time running people over, that's one thing. If you babysit by having them build the house of their dreams in Minecraft on creative mode, you know, that's a different story as well. I mean, obviously two very different games and genres and ratings. The goriest Minecraft gets is zombies, but
true. I think Minecraft is actually like a positive example of letting kids play games. Just because, you know, there are a lot of studies that prove that having kids play games is actually really good for them because it stimulates their brain and it helps them in a lot of ways. But I think, you know, for you, I think you'll be fine with letting your kid play games because you know games. And I think that's one of the problems that some people have is that a lot of parents just don't even know games. Like my parents don't at all. I mean, they let me play games, you know, violent games anyways, but it ended up being fine just because, you know, like I was saying, it was single player back then and things weren't too crazy. Like the worst was like Grand Theft Auto 3, but, you know, I was like, I think 9 or something. So I was old enough to know that it's just a video game and all that. But and it's like I actually do know, like one of my friends, his kid's been playing like Call of Duty Zombies since like he was 2 or 3 years old, and I think he's like 7 now. But yeah, so he's been playing games for years, and he's fine. Like he's fine with it, you know. Like you know, never had any like nightmares and stuff, and you know, it hasn't been a problem for him. On the other hand, my nephew-in-law, I guess you'd call him, he apparently the other day was playing Halo, didn't want to stop, and he took a swing at my sister-in-law, and he you know, so it's like it can be like I said at the beginning, it's completely case by case basis, and I think it's completely up to the parents to figure it out. And that's the problem is my sister-in-law really doesn't know anything about video games at all, and you know, also like it can be tough, like, you know, being a parent and then also trying to learn everything that your kid's doing. So I mean, that's what puts you at a big advantage, Brian, is that you know games yourself and you've been playing them for years. So I think you'll be fine with it, but not all parents will. And so I think, like I said, like a lot of issues involved in anything in the world, it is a lot of the times case by case and depending on a lot of different things. So it is a complicated topic, but I figure it'd be something interesting to talk about anyways.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, guys?
Both of you summed up my thoughts pretty much. Case by case basis. Really, it all depends on the maturity of the kid. I mean,
For sure.
me growing up, I was growing up. I was a lot different than other kids. Like I had a much more. I don't know. I wasn't intrigued by like M-rated games. Like I didn't play them very much, and I mean, by the time I did, I was like 11, and I still played, and I played like more mature games with more so mature themes than just like violent and stuff. Like I didn't like violent games. I was like, that's just dumb. But that's it's like a different kid. I think I played Heavy Rain when I was like 14, 15. I mean yeah, that's older scale, but Heavy Rain has some darker themes that I can see other kids like as I was playing it, and I saw what I was looking at and like the themes and just how dark in tone it was. I could see other kids around my school. I'd be like, they couldn't handle this. They would. It'd be too much for them in how they perceive it. Like they'd be very immature about it. Like they would just like they wouldn't appreciate it for what it is. Like that's a whole different discussion. But I mean, just it's really different. Depends on the kid, really.
Among other things.
For sure.
It's the kid, it's the parent, or parents rather.
Yeah.
It's
and the game.
The game.
Yeah,
and the game itself.
The friends, the area.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I grew up in Connecticut, and me and my friends would play World of Warcraft, and at night together, and go into school the next day, and sit around, or go out to get food or something like that, and talk about World of Warcraft, and go drinking that night and talk about World of Warcraft, and play World of Warcraft. But that was our thing. We didn't. I mean, I guess drinking and playing constant video games and doing whatever else in high school is not the greatest thing, but still, I mean, we were responsible enough to know that, hey, this is a game. We're not gonna go pick up a sword and violently kill anyone with green skin like an orc or something like that.
Yeah.
And just that there's so many factors involved in that it's just hard to put your finger on one specific thing. I mean, the problem that we've run into recently in regards to this is, sure, you want your kids to be safe. Yes, you should possibly adhere to the ratings board, but I mean, I watched Con Air with Nicolas Cage when I was pretty young. I was nowhere near 17 or whatever it is to watch a rated R movie, but it didn't make me want to hijack a plane full of convicts. I remember Grand Theft Auto coming out when I was in middle school or early high school. And I wasn't that mature yet, but running over hookers didn't make me want to go hijack my mom's car and run people over in the streets. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'm the exception. I think I'm the rule. I think most people are like me. You two seem pretty okay, even though you've been playing mature games for a long time. Most people are. The problem that we run into is the media needs a scapegoat whenever there's something terrible happens, and they used World of Warcraft or Call of Duty as a killing simulator, and that's it. Violent video games cause people to go out and shoot up schools and airports and whatever, camps and stuff like that. And most people aren't like that. And at the end of the day, if you have adults that are responsible, know their kids that are responsible, and just don't play Call of Duty with them when they're 7 years old without any context. And
Yeah.
have some explanation and just know, then it shouldn't be a problem. Because if you know your kid can't handle it, your kid can't handle it, and that's a different story. If you think they can, it's worth trying. If you don't care, then you don't care, but you could still watch out for your kid and see what happens. I mean, if the signs point towards him being more antisocial and more violent, then that's one thing. And it's just another one of those things where, as long as you're proactive about it, there shouldn't be an issue. And it's just one of those things that's been very sensationalized in the media lately, so that's why it seems like it's a much bigger deal than it really is.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think it's about time to wrap it up.
Old Man
I think we were
Renta, finish
discussing
things
next
off.
week we might do our E3 predictions, maybe. I think E3 is maybe 3 or 4 weeks
Soon.
away. So
Yeah, I didn't know it was that close.
yeah,
Almost.
it's not the first week of June, but I think it's the second
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, I think it starts that weekend with Bethesda's on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Fallout 4
And,
is going to be
some
announced,
more
and it's
interested
coming
in
out
Sony's,
this year. It's my first prediction. Or no, that's my second prediction, actually.
Yeah, you already made one today.
Yeah, I got a couple of quite a few predictions, I think. But that'll be a cool topic for next week. Hopefully we get Steven back, possibly some other people. But
Hopefully.
that was good. This is the PlayStation Lifestyle Underground Podcast, signing off.